Hello, nerdy romantics. Today we are talking about holiday romance reads. I have Jen with me today, and we're going to recommend some romance reads that are maybe a little bit spicy, maybe not so much spicy, maybe a little bit paranormal, and then some that we want to read, but because we are busy ladies, we have not read them yet, so they are on our TBRs. So stick with us. We are talking holiday romance reads coming up. This is the Nerdy Romantics Podcast, and I'm your host, YM Nelson. Hi, Jen. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. I am so excited to have this conversation with you. I can't even tell you. I'm ready. I'm ready. Are you ready for the holidays?
I am ready, actually. I am more ready than I was the same time last year when we did this episode. I celebrate Christmas. I at least have my tree up this year. It doesn't have any decorations on it just yet, but we're going to get there. So
I'm impressed. I'm impressed. I have some decorations up, and I have brought the tree from the storage unit to the apartment.
Oh my.
So it is literally on the floor right here.
That's the biggest step. I'm telling you, it took me 2 days, and I just had to get my tree out of my garage and pull it into the side door.
So it's here now, which means that sometime in the next week it will get done.
Yes.
So now I feel like we're almost there.
Exactly. I mean, lugging the tree is half the battle. Oh yeah, forget that. Yeah, we
definitely do not have the shopping done.
Yeah, we're not even.
I have
talking
exactly
about
2
that.
presents. My list is not very long. You know what though? My kids are grown. They are 26 and almost 30. So, as my mom says, they're not worried about Santa Claus. You don't have to worry about that stuff anymore. And I was like, oh, that's so true. I don't have to stress about this. Yeah. So my heart goes out to all the moms out there and parents and folks and loved ones that are trying real hard to get those presents under the tree.
Yeah. I mean, I feel for them. I am I'm not in the same boat as far as kids being grown. I don't have any, but neither does my brother. So that means we're all adults in the house as well.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. So it's, the presents thing is not as big of a deal as the being together thing.
Yeah,
and so that means also that my calendar is full. Which is why it's taking me forever to get the tree out, because it's like I'm doing too much here. But I love it when everything is like together and people are just in that holiday spirit and celebrating and just being together, which that's what it's all about, And obviously it's a little bit about being in love too, because the amount of romance reads I have seen, oh my goodness, we're just going to touch the surface here, but I will say that all of the ones on our list are not any that I have actually seen on social media. So that is how many there are out there. We can all talk about them and we can all have different ones that we recommend. So, Jim, what about you? What are your recommendations here? How about you start us off?
Okay. I'm going to start us off with a contemporary romance. And this one, I love this title so much. It is Single and Ready to Jingle. This is a fantastic book by Piper Rayne. This one's not a new book. This has been out for a while. And I just love the dialogue, it has really fantastic dialogue. But let me back up a second. Let me just back up a second and give you like the outline of what we're talking about here. So we have a girl who loves Christmas, like loves Christmas. And we have a Grinch. So that is a pairing for me that honestly, you're going to see a little bit more of this from me today. So we start off with she's going on a blind date. This is chapter 1. This is no spoilers in this. Chapter 1, she has a blind date. But because it is Christmas time and she is an event planner, she is running late. And unfortunately, she was running so late, she didn't have a chance to change out of her elf costume before she went to the restaurant.
Oh my gosh.
So she shows up to a blind date in full elf regalia. So that's where we're starting off. So that gives you a good insight into the humor of this book. And one of the things I truly love about like a Piper Rayne book is that you're going to get that humor. You're going to get a lot of funny moments. You're going to get a lot of snark and great banter between the characters. But she is one of the people that does a fantastic job of balancing that with some real heart, like some real heart. So when you think about somebody who, like I said, she's an event planner and she really loves Christmas and she's into the whole, she loves all the stuff about it. And we have our Grinch, but you always have to think about, well, why is he a Grinch? Like, what is it about Christmas that you don't like? And as this story unfolds and you find out and you learn more about him and you learn more about like what his deal is, and you just, your heart's going to grow 3 sizes. Let me tell you.
Oh
your heart's going to grow 3 sizes. You are going to fall in love with both of these characters. You're going to laugh. And, I forgot to mention, this is a really important point. Might be a brother's best friend situation. Yes. Yes. So we love a brother's best friend. We love a grumpy sunshine. We love a blind date. We love all these things. And the way that the story unfolds is just so fun. So like I said, she's an event planner and it's Christmas time. They are crazy busy, super crazy busy, but she is, she's new. This is the start of a business. Anybody out there starting a business,
Yep.
shout out, because that is a really tough process. All my author friends out there, I know that's a really tough process for everyone. But she's got the hustle on. She's really got the hustle on. So when his name is escaping me right now, I'm going to find it. So when his law firm needs an event planner for a last minute Christmas party, or no, wait, they had an event planner and they fired him. Anyway, so they need an event planner. He says her name, and you always want to have people in your life that are going to say your name in the rooms that you want to be in. Yep. And so she gets hired to do the Christmas party, and all kinds of hijinks and good times unfold. She convinces him to go on 3 Christmas dates and do all of the kitschy Christmassy things just in order to try and melt his heart. And I just love this pairing. I love these 2 characters together, and it's gonna put you right into that Christmas spirit, and so Piper does a really great job of that. Oh, did I forget to tell you he has a British accent?
Oh no! I mean, you just sealed it right there.
I know.
Yes.
I know. It's like every time, it's like every little thing Piper just puts like all of the good micro tropes that we are just. Happiness.
Right. They're like little Christmas gifts. Advent calendar.
Oh my gosh, that's what it is. Yes. It's an advent calendar. She's like an advent calendar of Christmas joy, this girl. Yeah. So Piper's a fantastic author. She's got a lot of books out there. So if you're not into needing a Christmas miracle style book, you can find lots of other things to read by Piper Rayne.
All right, sounds good. What's the spice level on this one?
It is very low.
Okay.
It is very low. I want to say that there's a lot of yearning I want to say that there's a lot of heated moments, but not a lot of spice on the page.
Okay, got it.
That's what I want to say.
All right.
And maybe I really hope that I'm remembering that correctly.
Well,
but
we know
like
that you said...
I'm 95% sure that that's the... Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, there's something about Christmas books that sometimes some Christmas books tend towards that less spicy sort of world. I'm not really sure why. But don't worry, all of my spice lovers, I do have a book I'm going to talk about at the end where the spice level is real high. We got you. We got you, girls.
All right. Yes.
And guys. And people. And all of the folks that love Christmas books. So, yeah. So that is Single and Ready to Jingle. So, love that for us. So, we love a big city. We love a brother's best friend. So,
yeah.
There you go.
Cool. So, what else you got for us? What's the next? Another contemporary, right?
This is another contemporary. And this one is by this really fantastic author named Lula White. And if you do not know Lula White, like, you got to get on this. So this one is called Brown Sugar This Christmas. And this one is kind of in contrast to the Piper Rayne book. This one takes place in a small town, but not like your standard small town. No, ma'am. We are in like Sag Harbor, I think. Like, we are in the upper echelons of people in this world. They have style, they have ocean views, they have all the money in the world. And I love that for them, and I just love that there's a little glimpse into some glamour. So we have a fabulous heroine. We have a heroine named Maddie, and this woman has her life on, like, figured out. She did college all the way through. You know, she is an Ivy League grad. She is working in DC. She is getting promoted. She is somebody who has like real power and real influence in DC. And she comes home for Christmas, and one of my absolute favorite things to read in a book is when we have somebody who is super smart, super powerful, knows their career inside and out, knows what they're doing, has that competence that we just, shout out to all the girls out there. And they come home and their mom treats them like, between the mom and the siblings, we all revert back to being like 12 years old.
Yeah.
Right? You get around your siblings and everybody's ribbing each other and everybody's giving each other a hard time. And they are, any opportunity they have to embarrass each other. There's cousins there. It's a whole situation.
Oh, boy.
Okay, so that's who Maddie is. Then we flip over to Gerald. Gerald is the exact opposite of Maddie. Almost. There's a caveat to this. You see, Gerald has started a bakery business. Yeah, this is their first winter, and he's doing everything he can to ingratiate himself into the Sag Harbor community and really build this business. And you're like, oh yeah, he's really working it. Love a guy who bakes. Gerald doesn't bake. You know who bakes? His grandmother.
Oh, no.
These are his grandmothers. His grandmother is in the kitchen doing all the baking.
Oh, my gosh.
And look, I'm just telling you, if you did not want dessert when you started this book, you're going to want dessert by like chapter 5.
Oh, my goodness.
Because the way they describe these pies, I'm like, I wonder if I could find these pies. I feel like I need to reach out to Lula White. As it happens, she lives in Los Angeles.
Wow.
And I feel like she might be inspired by someplace. I don't know. Maybe she's inspired by her grandmother's pies. I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, there's a lot of great information in here about pies and baking.
Nice.
And through a series of shenanigans, Maddie and Gerald are kind of thrown together a lot. Like a lot. part of it is that he and her father have become kind of friendly in terms of like getting some advice and just kind of ingratiating himself there. And he seems to be showing up at all of the events where she is showing up because, of course, he is doing the dessert catering for all these different places. And at first, she is kind of annoyed by this guy, right, who just kind of keeps showing up. And she doesn't realize exactly what his story is and what his deal is. Something that she comes to find out, let me double check because this is not a spoiler. But Gerald is not just some guy who likes pies. Gerald was a Wall Street finance guy. He was a guy who had an incredibly successful career. But you know what Wall Street guys don't do? They don't have hobbies. They don't sleep. They have no social life. They are in the office, 12, 14, 16 hours a day, every single day.
Yep.
And he's like, what am I working for? And anybody that's experienced burnout, even if you weren't the person who was, making Wall Street money, but anybody that's experienced burnout is like, what am I doing, right? What am I doing with my life here? Because my life is my job, and there's nothing else to me. There's nothing else for me. And so he saw an opportunity. His grandmother has always wanted to do this. His grandmother this has been her dream. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to go make my grandmother's dream come true. That's what I'm going to do. And so I love that complicated relationship that he has with trying to figure out a business, figure out his relationship with his grandmother, figure out how to staff a new business, how to grow. And also, part of the goal here was that he was going to have a social life. What does that look like? I wonder how Maddie might play into this. These two wouldn't call them enemies to lovers exactly, because they're not like, they're not fighting with each other, but they do argue a lot. And they get on each other's nerves. And man, Lula White can write some annoyed banter. There's banter that's just kind of fun. Yes. And there's banter of like, who do you think you are? Well, you're coming up here. Well, you're doing, that type of back and forth.
Love it.
You can hear those character voices in your head. She does a beautiful job with giving these characters, understanding why these characters are annoyed with each other, and giving them like a really deep what am I trying to say? A really rich emotional life that they are living, in terms of why they make the choices they make, what are the things that frustrate them, what are the things that affect them, what are the things, there's a moment that is a lovely bit of misunderstanding between these two characters, because he thinks that she's being cold, and because she's sitting in silence, and they're in a car together for various reasons, and he thinks that she is just sitting over there having an attitude and being cold, and she will not look at him. She absolutely will not, like, keeps inching. You know how when you're in a car you can kind of like inch just a little bit more so that you're turned away from whoever the driver is?
Yeah.
And then when he finds out why, he's like, I completely misread the situation. And you have to appreciate somebody who can recognize about themselves and have that empathy towards someone who is clearly going through something. And so I really love that she's done that. And of course, we have a fantastic cast of characters. This is a big family. This is the first book in a series.
Okay.
Of winter. Well, there's books for different seasons. So other books in the series, there's a hot chocolate this winter. So that's the second book in the series. And then we have Flinging All Spring and Overheated for Summer. And then we bring it all back together for a Rouse family Christmas with all the couples. So that's a nice little 5-book series by Lula White. And that is the Sag Harbor Black Romances. That's the name of the series.
Cool.
So
we can read all year long.
Highly recommend this. Yeah, you can read Lula White all year long. She's great. Highly recommend.
Cool. I love that.
So those are my two. What do you have? What do you have for us?
So I also have two contemporary ones, and even though one just came out this year, and one
Mm-hmm.
I actually read the 10-year anniversary version of it, these are two books that are new to me. So again,
Nice.
so many Christmas romances, so many holiday, I should say,
Mm-hmm.
romances out there. And the one that is new this year is called Not So Merry in Maldives
Uh
by
huh.
Mia Heintzelman. And
Ooh.
we last year we featured a book by Mia as well on this holiday episode, and I thought about that book as I started reading this one because I thought, is this part of the series? But it's not part of the series from the book that we read last year. The book that we read last year was called Last Christmas Crush,
Okay.
and
Right. Yeah.
yeah, and it was book four of, I think four of the Fortamani series. That's their
Okay.
last name. I can't remember if that is the name of the series, but that's their last name of the people in the book. I think it's
Do you want me to look it
Fortamani
up for you?
series.
We
Yeah,
have a
you
laptop right
can.
here. We can look it up.
Okay, yeah, let's look that up. Let's look that up just to make sure. But anyway, so the one thing that I noticed that made me think about the book from last year is because these two, our female main character and our male main character, they are both employees when they're starting out. They're
Mm-hmm.
both employees at this magazine called Vines and Voyages, or Vines
Oh.
Plus Voyages. And that kind of triggered something in my brain. And that magazine is also mentioned in Last Christmas Crush. So they're not part
Okay.
of the same series. It's just like they're part of the same universe that the other series where Last Christmas Crush is. They don't have the
Mm-hmm.
same characters in them as, so it's not in the same series, just in the same universe.
Got
So
it.
so yeah. Is it the Fortamani series?
It is the Fortamani series,
Okay,
but well,
great.
so wait, hold on. Well, that's the book. That's the other book that you were saying. I couldn't find
Yes,
this one.
Last
Okay, so
Christmas
this
Crush.
one.
This one doesn't have a
So not
series
so
that I
merry in the
know of.
Maldives does not have a series attached to
Yes.
it.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. This one is, as far as I know, is standalone, or either she's making this one and we just don't know the series yet. But as far as I know, it's standalone. Yeah. Okay. So good. I'm
Yeah,
I'm glad I got that right.
yeah. This
Because
one is
we're
a standalone, not connected with the other series. So you're good.
okay. Cool.
But that
Because
other series also sounds great.
oh, it is. It's a really cool series. It's a family and they have a vineyard, and yeah. But this book is awesome too. I love the fact that it harkens back to that. It makes me think about that. Now I
Mm-hmm.
want to go and read all those books again. But with this one, I love how we've introduced these characters. I will say that when I first started reading,
Mm-hmm.
I was a little concerned, but that's a personal thing because if you have been following this podcast, y'all know that I have been in job search. Right now, it's going on 6 months. And at the beginning of this book, they are firing people and laying off people. And yeah, so it was a little much just for me personally. That is not gonna happen for every reader. And two, when I started this book, I'm not in that place now, but when I started this book, I was in a certain place. That happens when you're in an
It happens
emotional.
to all of us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does. But our female main character, Pear, she is planning for this big trip to Maldives. She is a photographer for this publication, and she's actually run up a big debt on her credit card.
Oh.
And as we
Oh.
actually open the book, she's still running up that big debt by getting this nice little bikini that's, in this boutique shop. But she's running up this debt, but this is considered, or what she thinks is considered, a work trip, right? So she's
Sure. Of course
hoping,
it would be.
exactly, because she's, taking pictures of this particular resort in the Maldives for the magazine. So she's just waiting for her expense report to get approved, right?
Uh-huh.
Her
Can you buy
supervisor.
a bathing suit as a photographer and have that count on your expense report? Like,
I will say for this, she was paying for this one with her own credit card. She wasn't adding this one to her expense report. But her plane tickets, well, this is the other thing about this, is that I've now found out where Maldives is, and that's an expensive plane ticket from anywhere in the U.S. I think it
is way out in the water.
Exactly.
It is real far.
Yeah. And so she's racked up some approvable expenses, but they're already big. And so her supervisor actually has tracked her down. This is on her lunch hour, has tracked her down, has come to get her and says, listen, you need to put your expense report in now. And so she gets back, is working on putting in her expense report. While she is working on putting in her expense report, her supervisor has already been let go, right? So her expense report is sitting out there, and people are looking around wondering who's next on the chopping block.
Yeah.
Evidently, this is a yearly thing for this particular, and this is just in the first chapters, y'all. Yeah. We're not even in spoiler territory at this point. This is in the first chapters, and actually in the book description really as well. But yeah, so we find out that this editor-in-chief that's firing people does this every year. So like every year at this point, people are just sitting there waiting. The next person to go has what is the movie, Jerry Maguire kind of moment after he gets fired. Like, who's with me? This is crazy. Who's with me? And nobody comes with him because people are like, well, he might have been okay to go anyway, right? The next person that gets called in is actually Pear's best work friend, probably considered like a work husband. And his name is Hollis. And she is wondering if he's going to be let go, because Hollis is also in the photography department. They don't have the same job. They're not both photographers. He's more like an art director, but he's actually looking for a promotion. He's on track to be promoted. And this guy that's just had this Jerry Maguire moment was fired, and so Hollis ends up getting his job instead of being fired. So Pear thinks that everything is okay. She is ready to go to Maldives. She is hoping that expense report gets put in. Instead, what happens? Hollis calls Pear into his office, his newly gotten office, and fires her. Yes. No. So she has these expenses out there. She now is unemployed, and she has a non-refundable ticket to Maldives. Actually, she has 2 non-refundable tickets to Maldives because one of them was for her best friend, but one of them is like miles. You get it because you got so many miles or whatever. So it's not an expense report kind of thing, but it's a miles kind of thing. So she decides, well, I'm going to the Maldives anyway, number 1. Number 2, I hate Hollis now.
We all hate him.
We really hate him. But before this all happened, they were like work husband and work wife. They were really friendly, and dare I say, could there have been a possible romance brewing there before this happened? Oh boy. Well, anyway, she
Boy,
does.
ruined his life. You
Yes.
ruined his life right there.
I mean, really, you know? So she does go to the Maldives. Some kind of crazy accident happens, or crazy kind of malfunction happens with her best friend's plane, and they have to land in Seattle. So on the first leg of the trip, her best friend lands in Seattle. So they don't meet up in the airport that they're supposed to meet up in. I think that was in LA or someplace. I can't remember exactly where. But they were supposed to meet up in an airport to go on their next leg of the trip. So she's not there. She is seated beside this family, and they are not seated together. And goodness me, it sounds like a TikTok video. I swear. The woman wants her to, like change seats so her and her family can all sit together, because her husband is actually in first class somewhere and they're in coach. They're not seated together at all. And she's like, you know what? Fine. I will trade seats with your husband. So she trades seats with him. Lo and behold, she's sitting beside a newly hired managing senior art director of Vines and Voyage, Hollis.
He's going to the Maldives.
Yes.
No.
Not only is he going to the Maldives, he's also doing photography for this spread that she was supposed to be doing the photography for. Nope. So there's a lot going on here. This one is a big enemies to lovers, obviously. It is a huge slow burn because they have been work buddies, as we find out in the very first chapters. They have been work buddies for years. So if you count up all of that and then on the page yearning, it's a big slow burn here. But also there's some elements of magic that happen. So not a lot of magic.
I love Christmas magic.
Christmas magic happens. So somehow this accident that causes them to land the best friend's plane, that accident is some kind of weirdness. They're like, there was some green highlighted goo somewhere. We think it also might have been a reindeer. People report seeing a reindeer. Wonder how that happened, right? So that happens. Then when they get to the Maldives, there are these strange green stones that actually, kind of disintegrate into magic dust at certain moments. There's this strange couple that, dare I say, they look like a certain jolly couple that usually dress in red and white.
Are they? Oh, my.
I mean, who are these people? So there's a lot of stuff going on here. There's a lot of stuff going on here. There's some magic elements going on because they're in the Maldives. Even though the Maldives is like a series of islands and blah, 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 they're all at this one resort together. So it's all kind of like, they're going to run into each other all the time. They're on this plane ride together, Hollis and Pear. Everybody is kind of like, and you get this kind of feeling as you're reading that everybody wants what you want. You are rooting for them, and everybody in the book is too. And so I love this. I really love kind of the way this is set up. I love the way that Mia does this. And the Maldives trip, although all of the stuff in the very beginning happens before Christmas, the Maldives trip is actually taking place on like between Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. It takes like 12, it's like a 12-hour difference between where they are, something like that. It's some kind of crazy difference where So we don't necessarily, we just see kind of the end of Christmas Day when we get to the Maldives. So it's not one of those like a Hallmark kind of thing, like, oh my gosh, will they get together before midnight on Christmas? Will they make it? It's not that, but it has that festive air of Christmas all around. It goes from Christmas through New Year's.
Mm-hmm.
So we are in the holiday spirit the whole time. And it's a really good time. This
Good.
one is, it's not heavy or anything like that. Although, with Mia's books, the ones that I've read, I haven't known them to be like really seriously heavy or anything like that.
Yeah.
This one's
Yeah.
kind of light. Like I said, my only hang up was a personal hang up, which I'm in the same headspace as Pear, sort of. Not really, though, I find out. But I love this whole, getting together. And of course, as they get to the Maldives, there's a lot of shenanigans that happen.
Love the shenanigans.
It's just so fun there. I don't want to spoil it. It's just so much fun. Just a lot of different little shenanigans, and I could actually see this on screen. I could see
Mm-hmm.
this happening on screen. This would make a great like Netflix Christmas movie
Mm-hmm.
or a Lifetime Christmas movie. I really like this one.
From the rooftops. Hey, do you guys need
Yes.
Mia? Anybody have Mia Heintzelman's number? Let's get that. Let's get that out to the network
Yeah.
executives.
Let's get it going. Love this one. And with this for spice level, this is a little more spicy, y'all, because Mia, she does Open Door.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's not like 4 or 5 chili peppers or anything here.
Mm-hmm.
But it is definitely an Open Door romance. But because it's a slow burn, it's not like major all the time going on. So that's my recently published one. My second one I read the 10th anniversary version of it. So it's been out for at least 10 years. I think this one was, I think this actually one was published in maybe 2012, 2013. I'm actually not sure. But it's called Wrapped. That's like wrapped like a Christmas present. And it's by Rebekah Weatherspoon.
We love us a Rebekah Weatherspoon book.
You know that. Oh my
Absolutely.
gosh. Love, love, love Rebekah Weatherspoon books. And she also has another one, which hopefully we'll talk about, that I wanted to read in place of this one. But I'm glad I got to read this one because this one is also new to me. This one is not in the Fit trilogy, but it is what she calls adjacent to the Fit trilogy. So there are 3 books out there that she calls the Fit trilogy. And this one is a holiday one that's adjacent to it. However, there's also characters that are from the Loose Ends trilogy. And the Loose Ends
Ooh.
trilogy, or that series, I should say, Loose Ends series, there's more than 3 books in that series, I think. But the Loose Ends series, that one has my favorite book in it from Rebekah Weatherspoon, and that's Rafe. Love that book. And this one also has some characters from that book, from that series. So it's kind of like becoming a universe kind of thing as well. So, I like that about this. And, of course, you want to just keep reading. You read one, you want to keep reading all of them. You're like, okay, I need to know what happened with this person and this person and this person. So,
Yes. That's what I love.
yes, I love it. So this one actually follows, this one's actually a novella sized book. So this is a short read. It's a very enjoyable read, and it's a fun read. And it follows female main character is a bake shop owner named Shay Kinney. And she is plus size, so yay! I'm loving the representation. And she's actually just out of a divorce. She's just out of a divorce, And lo and behold, she's on the apps, y'all. She's on the apps. The online dating. Y'all know how I feel about that.
Everybody, say a prayer.
That's these books
say a prayer.
The online dating book, yes. But hey, but it's funny with this because she's on the apps, but she's not really on the apps. Like her profile is there, but she hasn't done any swiping left or right. And her friends are like, listen, you actually need to use this app. And she's like, I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm like out of my depth here because her husband is like her first love kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, she hasn't done that whole app thing and all the dating stuff and all that.
Oh, Lord.
So her friend Megan, and like I said, Megan has her own book in the Loose Ends trilogy. The Loose Ends series. So Megan actually says, listen, I know how to do this app thing. Let me do some swiping for you. So she does swiping.
Oh, yeah.
They're all together, Shay and her friends and her cousin. And these are all folks that you'll recognize from this Fit trilogy and some from the Loose End series. Megan is doing some swiping for her. It's not Christmas yet, but they're doing the Christmassy stuff that we're doing right now, right?
All right, awesome.
So, yeah. So they're all together. Megan's swiping. All of a sudden, they see this guy, and they're like, dang, this guy's hot. Hey, y'all, look at this guy. Of course, all the girls are around. So they're like, oh, you got to see this guy. You got to swipe right on this guy. Turns out that this guy is named Aiden. And Shay knows Aiden because Shay used to work with Aiden when Shay was married and before she became a bake shop owner. They used to work at the same company. And so she's like, yeah, he is hot. Swipe right on that one, So Megan swipes right. It's a match.
Love this for her. Love this for her.
So great. So we find out that Aiden has also left the company that they used to work at, and he is partners with his friend Matt, and they are partners at I think it's an architectural or real estate kind of company that they've made. And turns out that Matt, he really, really loves the baked goods at this particular shop called Sweet Dream.
Oh, does he? Oh, my.
So they go to the shop. Come to find out, the shop owner is Shay.
Is it? Oh, my gosh.
Love all
that does
of
make
it.
Honestly, that does make me really happy. I love that he knew about her buns before he knew about her.
Yes! Yes! But not in that way, y'all. Y'all know Rebekah Weatherspoon will do it up, but not in that way. There's purely platonic between Shay and Matt, but not between Shay and Aiden. As they get to know each other online, they do a little texting and everything, and as they get to know each other, of course they get closer together and they are reveling in the Christmas spirit. But there's also some problems with them getting together on Shay's part because, again, Shay has divorced kind of her first real person, like her first real partner. And we find out that there are some issues there. So there are some mild trigger warnings here that I will mention: gaslighting and some possible like infertility, maybe a possible trigger / content warning there having to do with infertility. However, none of this is actually playing out on page. This is more like a description in the backstory, right? This is kind of how we learn a little bit more about who Shay is and about some of the things that they go through. And two, she's just awkward. And because she's just awkward, And she is also very blunt as well. There's some
Love.
funny moments. Yeah.
Love.
There's some funny little moments that happen. And Aiden's got his own thing going on. So there's some funny moments that happen with him.
Right.
But I love the fact here that we know that he really is in love, right, with Shay, and he really wants to help Shay out, right? He really wants to like be there for her. And I love that about an FMC. That's just, hey, I get it. You're going through some stuff. I want to help. I don't want to hinder. Even though I think you're probably going to look pretty good without any clothes on. I want to help. Right? Oh gosh. So this one, like I said, it's a novella and it is a Rebekah Weatherspoon book. So if you don't know about her, she is very spicy. She has, I would say, if you're on a scale of 1 to 5 chili peppers, she's about a 4 in general. And even though this is a novella, I'm going to give this one a 3.5 to 4 as far as on spicy level because it is Rebekah Weatherspoon. But hey, it's just a fun time. It really
You're gonna have a good time. That's
just a fun
that's
time.
true of a Rebekah Weatherspoon book. You're gonna have a great time.
Yeah.
Everybody's having a great time.
Exactly. Everybody has a great time. This is one, like I said, this is one of those adjacent kind of books. So we get the whole cast of characters, especially from the Fit trilogy. So, of course, what it made me want to do after I finished reading was I wanted to then get the Fit trilogy and read that because that I hadn't read the Fit trilogy. I've read, loose ends, but I haven't read the Fit trilogy. So it made me want to get that and start reading too. And which I love that. I love that you have characters that are just like clinging on to you. Yeah. Almost. It's like, I want to get more. Like, just give me more. Give me more. Little Christmas gifts here. Just keep giving me these Christmas gifts. I will say this one is the only Christmassy one in that trilogy, but you still want a little
read books
gift.
all year.
Exactly.
We're going to be reading books all year long. You know it.
That's right. That's exactly right. So this one, love this one. And there's a reason why I picked this one, right? I saw this one, but one that I really wanted to read is a newer book by Rebekah Weatherspoon. So I have not read this one yet, y'all, but this is definitely on my TBR. And it is called A Man for Mrs. Claus. So
love that title.
Right?
Love that.
I'm like, wait a minute. What happened to Mr.
I do not have this book. I do not have this book. And I have somehow missed this. All right. So tell me, what are we working with here?
Yes. So
what do we know?
This one is standalone. She says this one is standalone. So it's not necessarily part of any trilogy here. So for those of y'all who are just like the total opposite of me, that just wants to keep reading, you just need that little bit of Christmas romance and then you're good. This one might be for you. So here we are running the North Pole and making a good on the promise of comfort and joy for a few billion people is no simple two-step around the Christmas tree. Mr. and Mrs. Claus have always worked in tandem to do just that. So when her third husband, so this is the Mr. Claus, y'all. Oh my. So when her third husband realizes it's time to peace out and move on to more heavenly pastures, the angels and all the elves know what time it is. They need to find Tiffany St. Nicholas, that's our female main character, a new man.
Excellent.
Right? With the holiday calendar slowing down for no one, her team has 3 days to find her a new Santa. Someone kind, loving, and willing to take on the spirit of the season. and with the potential to hopefully be Tiffany's first true love match. Interesting, right? Tiffany thinks that idea is cute and all, and so are the men that they line up for her. But she knows delivering on their Christmas obligations is what really matters, not the chemistry she might have with the candidates in question. Too bad one respective Santa will stop at nothing to show her and the rest of the North Pole's population that no amount of silver or gold is more important than winning Tiffany's heart. Oh my goodness. You know.
I'm so happy for Tiffany. I'm so happy for Tiffany.
Right? I'm already
if
rooting
she's gone
for
through
Tiffany.
2 husbands and has not had a true love, what is happening?
Right. Exactly. What's going on here, Mr. Claus? Like,
yeah.
Are you delivering toys for everybody else?
They're not delivering something. There's definitely something they are not delivering.
Oh my gosh.
So,
and knowing Rebekah Weatherspoon, that has a double entendre meaning, y'all.
So
y'all should see the cover for this book. Like every iteration of the cover for this book lets you know it is racy, spicy, everything, right? There's a definite cartoon cover, and then there's one that's kind of cartoony, like whatever. But every iteration of this cover is like Mrs. Claus is actually gonna find some romance.
Oh my gracious, the one I'm
You're
looking
seeing
at.
it, aren't you?
I'm looking at that cover.
Isn't
that man is delivering. That man
yes.
is delivering. She is quite clearly joyful.
Exactly.
Yeah,
She's having a
jolly.
good Christmas.
That is a jolly. That woman's having a jolly old time.
Exactly. That's a good Christmas right
and
there.
And good for her.
And I'm thinking, yes, I'm happy for her. And I think, and I can't wait to read this one because, I think this is just going to be joy all around here. This is going to be a fun time.
That's going to be a fun read.
Yes, but
yeah, I might have to add that one to my TBR as well. This TBR, ma'am, this TBR is out of control. Out of control. But that's all right.
I know it's out of control for you because don't you have one on your TBR?
I do have another one on my TBR. Some internet person said that you collect books the way that you collect wine so that you can just pick one off the shelf whenever you're ready for it. And I was like, that there.
Yes.
There's, you know what?
Yes.
I could not finish this number of books that I own in probably 10 years. But it's okay. It's okay because I love them all. I love them all, and they're all very special and wonderful. And so this one that I have added it to the list, folks. I've added it to the list. I may have to read this one before the end of the year. This one is called The Xmas Breakup. And this is going to be a spicy book, folks, because our girl, Zoe York, loves to write spice, and she does it really, really well. So,
yes.
So Xmas, not X, but EXMAS. That's right. If you're kind of having a moment pre-Christmas and you decide to text the X, ha ha ha.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's what happens with our girl, Rory. Rory texts her ex, and they're maybe get a little spicy, and then he ends up at her door.
Oh my.
This is a book that kind of jumps straight into the spice. You don't have to wait very long, and that's a good thing. So they did not make a great couple, but they are both kind of thinking that maybe exes with benefits might be kind of fun.
Mm.
There might be something good about that. And so he's a medical student doing a residency. So he's just this guy that really, really, really does not have time. Like a lot of people say they don't have time for a relationship. Garrett really does not have time for a relationship because he's in residency. So he's like, yeah, okay, this will be kind of cool. Like, she's great. And he is the one that broke up with her, okay?
Okay.
But as a couple, it wasn't really working, but he also was just kind of overwhelmed with, life being life. But he has a few days off for Christmas, and he ends up at her parents' own, wait for it, a Christmas tree farm. Yeah. They own a Christmas tree farm, and there's some, we'll call it misunderstanding shenanigans that are happening because Rory's sister, she is literally crying. She's literally crying on the couch because she is going through a breakup. And so nobody wants to really explain the whole, well, we are kind of friends, but we're kind of,
yeah.
Nobody's explaining the friends with benefits situation that they've got going on, right? So they're like, oh no, we're together. Everything's fine. But they have very progressive parents, and so they get to sleep in one bed.
Oh no,
an ex.
Oh God.
You and your ex fake dating at Christmas at your parents' house.
Please.
And there's only one bed. Oh my, what is going to happen here? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, there will be much shenanigans because if you've not read a Zoe York book, Zoe does a great job with shenanigans and fun times and creating just those characters that you're going to fall in love with. Mm-hmm. And let me tell you, if you fall in love with these characters and you're like, oh my gosh, this Pine Harbor, this little town of Pine Harbor sounds like a great place. Guess what? Talk about having a series to jump into. Pine Harbor is a very long-running series. I know there's more than 15 books. There might be 20-something books in this series.
Yeah.
So you have a lot to choose from. You have a lot of options here. And I'm just going to say that the men in Pine Harbor can get it. So that's how that's going. If you are not sure where you stand on the spiciness level or whether this is a book for you, I'm just going to recommend that you read the dedication. You should read the dedication to this book. You can cut this out if you so choose, Madam Podcaster, but
I'm not.
The dedication for this book says, for the reader who said, and I quote, "But do we have to wait until 54% for him to lick her nipple? Question mark?" Zoe assures us, in this book, you do not. You do not have to wait very long. So, you can take that as your spice level. I'm going to put it up there about a 4.5.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yep.
It's just the two of them in there, so you have that. The other thing that's kind of fun, if you do read the dedication, is that in the Kindle book, right after the dedication, there is a Canadian glossary. And she has listed out certain things that are more, Zoe is Canadian.
Yeah.
And so there's a number of things in here that are probably Canadian specific, and so she has pointed those things out. Some of these I knew, some of these I did not. I knew what Boxing Day was, and I knew what a toque was. A toque, for those that don't know, that's those knit caps. Sometimes we call them beanies. But I did not know about ice wine. Did not know that. Mm-mm. So, anyway,
this
wine is going to be I know, right? This is going to be a really fantastic book. Zoe always writes a great book. I have never been disappointed. So, highly recommend to give her a try and see what you think.
I definitely will after that. Now you've added one to my TBR again.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, my.
Yes, I'm here to help.
Yes, you very much. You are helping yourself to my TBR here. I mean, I have so many Jen recommended books on my TBR. But, I do get around to reading them, and I'm never disappointed.
I have a very particular set of skills, and knowing what a good romance novel is, that is one of them.
Exactly. You do. That's why we call you a connoisseur on this podcast.
I'm going to put that in my bio. Connoisseur of romances.
Exactly. And that's why I know you might have one more for us from Shannon.
I do have one more I was going to talk about. This is also a Christmas novella. Okay. We love a novella this time of year.
Yes.
we are busy. We are busy people. We got things to do. And a whole lot of things that have not gotten done yet. So a nice short book is going to be a great one. So there is this great little novella called The Spirit of Christmas. It is by Shannon Stacey. And Shannon is someone that I have been reading Shannon Stacey novels for a long time. She is the author that helped me understand that I really like to read about firemen. Did not know that about myself. And if you have not read a really good fireman romance, Shannon Stacey has quite a few of them. So, okay. But this book is not about a fireman. This book is about an author who has to meet a deadline. And so she has booked a cabin in the woods that is far from everything and is going to go up there and get the words on the page. She's going to finish this book. Now, she happens to schedule this during the Christmas holidays because she is a Grinch and does not like Christmas. Oh. So, I started off my book recommendations with a Christmas lover. The female main character was the Christmas lover and the male main character was the Grinch. Now we are going to flip it around because our female main character is a Grinch, not into Christmas at all whatsoever. And our main male character absolutely loves Christmas, even though he's technically dead. That's right. This Christmas spirit is my gosh. The little cabin in the woods is haunted. Yikes. But he loves Christmas and he has the power to like move things and be solid. It requires a lot of like energy, if you will, but he can be solid. And so he does things like while she sleeps, he brings in a bunch of Christmas decorations from the shed behind the cabin. And she like wakes up and it's just decorated for Christmas. And she's like, what the heck is going on goodness. Here? Lordy. But he makes himself known and they have some conversations and kind of get to know each other a little bit. And they very quickly decide that there is some chemistry between them. We have chemistry, we have magic, and we have some really good times. Like I said, he can become solid on occasion. So they use that to their full advantage because what an author really needs is a way to relieve the stress of writing a book, but they make it really fun. They make it a little bit of a competition. And in order for him to get a kiss, they are going to remove some piece of Christmas decor. So they go back and forth in adding and subtracting Christmas decor from the cabin.
Interesting.
So this is a fun, fluffy sort of a book. Even though our male main character is technically dead, he's doing fine. It's okay. He's living. He's existing in the world. And he's existing in a way that is, it's not sad. It doesn't kind of bring you down or anything like that. And we do really appreciate, having, again, I just love a character who's really good at her job. I love when we see, women are out there killing it. Personal life, not so much.
Right.
And that's where our heroine has found herself. And she's like, what exactly am I doing here? Am I building a relationship with a ghost? Like, where does this go? Nowhere fast, right?
Right.
And anyway, there's some Christmas magic, some good spirits, some good times, lots of really, really, really good times. So this is on the spicy side of a book of a novella for Christmas. So we love that for Shannon Stacey. Thank you so much.
That's
so
great.
Highly recommend go and give that a quick read.
I like it, and I like the fact that you mentioned ghosts, but not sad ghosts. Not a sad read. Nope, okay, because I did bust out laughing when you said he's technically dead. Oh gosh, I started laughing and I thought,
I know. I've read a couple of ghost romances and I'm like, you know what, guys? I get it. It's working for me.
No,
It's working.
okay.
So, and I know it's hard to believe, but this story has a really happy ending. So,
I love this.
I know.
I really love this. A happy ending with a ghost.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Interesting. And also another one for my TVR, y'all. This is just rounding out my holiday. You gave me a nice little book present wrapped in a bow.
There you
And
go.
I love this. And I hope that this episode is also a nice little present wrapped in a bow for all of our listeners.
We have
And
covered a lot of ground today
we did. We really did.
between the different series and, and gosh, we didn't even dive into any of the historicals and all that kind of stuff. There are so
Exactly.
many fantastic holiday books that are out there. There are of every sort of holiday. There's something like 20 different holidays between the end of October and middle of January. There's like 25 or 26 different holidays out there, man.
Wow.
And I promise you, I almost promise you, 95% of those holidays have a romance novel.
At
And I
least.
know they're a little bit more difficult
At
to
least.
find. Don't worry about it. Don't depend on the lists or the popularities or whatever. Just go to Google, go to Amazon, and if you want a Diwali romance, I do know there's a Diwali romance, but I have not read it.
Yes.
There's Kwanzaa romances. I could have done an entire episode just on Hanukkah romances. I know I mentioned a couple of those last year. If anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out. I will give you some Hanukkah romances to read.
Yes. Yep.
So,
I mean, all kinds out there.
mm-hmm.
I think even didn't we even have a winter solstice romance? I think or something like
Yeah,
that
so
last year.
yeah, I think last year I talked about R.L. Merrill. I should just tell you, I'll give you guys a couple names that you can go search for. So R.L. Merrill, she has a winter solstice Christmas, wonderful holiday story. There's a rescue dog in that book. Like she covers the gamut, and that's a really fun read.
Yeah.
For a couple of Hanukkah romances, I'm going to recommend Eliana West for a mild spice one, and Michelle Mars for a high spice one.
Okay.
And they are not the ones and only. There are many other Hanukkah romances that are out there. And so yeah, there's some great people out there writing wonderful stuff. So
Yeah,
highly
lots of
recommend.
wonderful stuff. And we'll be talking about lots of wonderful books in the new year. If you
Mm-hmm.
are the book lover that is listening to Nerdy Romantics podcast, got an announcement for you actually. In 2026, I'm going to do a mini series, and it's just going to be about books, kind of like our mini series where we have one for Marvel movies and TV shows, we have one for DC movies and TV shows. I am
Mm-hmm.
going to do one just specifically for romance novels, and for romance novels where at least one female main character is a Black woman. And I'm calling that Black Women Deserve Love. And
I
y'all,
love.
I have a lot of books to read. I have been doing a call for authors, and I've got a lot of books to read. This is probably going to come out a little bit after my call to authors is up, but I'm going to still have the application form open,
Mm-hmm.
because even though you may not make that particular series, we do talk about romance novels on here. And
Excellent.
so we're going to do that in 2026. So if you were really here for books and you felt like 2025 didn't give you enough, because we had a lot of superhero shows, y'all. But
I know.
oh,
There
we
were
did.
so many superhero shows.
Yes. Shows,
We had to
movies.
weigh in.
It was a lot of stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
And even though that's not necessarily letting up in 2026, we are going to have more episodes that are featuring books, and specifically books with Black women, specifically romance novels with Black women as main characters there. And
Oh, I love that you're doing this.
I can't
How
wait.
fun.
We already have several here on the holiday romance
Mm-hmm.
episode to get us started. And so look for more of those in 2026. Jen, I love having you on here talking about these
I love
lists.
coming to talk to you. Yeah.
This has been fun. Again, have more for my TBR. And now I have something to do while I'm putting up my Christmas tree. Yay!
Love it. Love it.
So, everybody, whatever holiday you celebrate, have a happy holiday, even if that holiday is just Tuesday. Have a happy holiday. You have a happy holiday too, Jen.
Thanks, hon. You too. You too.
Hi. Isn't it great when you find awesome reads like the ones on this episode? If you liked getting these book recs and want more, then subscribe to Nerdy Romantics newsletter at ymnelson.com/subscribe. Nerdy Romantics newsletter not only has nerdy and romantic recs, but sneak peeks and exclusives of my spicy nerdy romances and love stories. I love talking about sci-fi, superheroes, fantasy, and romance, books, movies, and shows with my friends. So share this podcast with your nerdy romantic friends. Thanks for listening and for watching.